Welcome to another St. Pete by Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
In the heart of night, we rise from shadows, howling at the moon, igniting our battles, cleansing Gaia of an endless fight, until our final days we will fight. Thanks, man, we stand united as one. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the grave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Everywhere we run, the wind is at our back. All the warring forces we will track. From the depths of the ocean to the clouds in the sky, vampires tremble as we learn to fight. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the brave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Everywhere with the pack, let the night be our guide. In battles of honor, we shall never hide. Rock will never hide.
Good evening and welcome to the St. Pete by Night Entertainment Network. St. Petersburg by Night is an online World of Darkness role-playing community based out of St. Petersburg, Florida. My name is Kent, also known as Michikent on all social media, and I will be your storyteller tonight. And it's Tuesday night, and you know what that means. It's time for Rage Across Tampa, our Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition chronicle set in the city of Tampa Bay, Florida, where a sept of Guru are attempting to combat the forces of the worm, both physical and spiritual. You're here on a very auspicious occasion because it is our 80th episode, and on top of that, it's our 2-year anniversary. Rage Across Tampa has been running for 2 years now, and I can hardly believe it, but it is an amazing, amazing thing that we are so proud about. Go follow St. Pete by Night on all of that social media down below to stay up to date on all of the happenings, not just in Rage Across Tampa, but the Tampaverse at large and our St. Pete by Night community. If you aren't subscribed, you should subscribe, not just here, but on YouTube and all the different platforms, because it really does help us out, and we really do appreciate it. But aside from all the plugs, aside from all that, it takes some pretty incredible players to make this story possible, so let's go ahead and introduce those players now. Players, go ahead and introduce yourselves, if you please.
Happy anniversary, everybody. I'm Champ, Champagne, girl, woman, person, whatever you want to call me, and I'll be playing Aspen Wives, Vilodox of the Silver Fix.
Hi, everybody. Also, happy anniversary. I'm Nori, and I'll be playing Malicious Jester, the Black Fury Galliard.
Everyone, also, big happy 2-year to all you. I am Preston. I play Jason Dreams of Decay Thorn, the Urge of the Bonar.
So players, it has been 2 years, and what a ride it's been. We've seen the destruction and death of Bloody Mary. We've seen the recapturing of the Tampa territories, and now we see you combating against a subsidiary of Pentex based out of Piney Point. How are we going to top ourselves going forward over the next 2 years? You'll just have to stay tuned to find out. But that being said, let's get caught up on everything that happened. Last week, Jester and Charles went to scout out Gatorland to see what they were up against, see what kind of security measures the facility had as they are trying to fulfill a mission for She Who Shines, the Mokale neighbor of the Sept, who is trying to stay on peaceful terms with the Sept, but this will definitely help make a huge leap forward in gaining another ally for the Sept. We also saw Aspen welcome Larry to the Sept officially as he arrived at the cairn and asked some questions about what it was to be a Philodox, all about tribe spirits and the whole gamut of information that a new guru would need to know. And based off of what it seemed, based off of the dreams he was having, it looks like Gorgon has claimed him and that he is going to be a Black Fury once the official, indoctrination or joining has happened. Then we saw Jace have a little hangout with the Ratkin, known as Skeeter, as well as the rest of the gang, Ali and Dodger and Maylin, who has taken a very, very special interest in Jace. And then in the second half, we saw the pack head to the Tampa Ministries to meet with Alice, the spiritually gifted individual who has been taking up residence there. But what they found was not what they expected, as the Ministries had been the target of a raid of the customs agents who were looking to find illegal immigrants and remove them. And in doing so, not only took many of the volunteers from the facility, but also took Reverend Thomas, who was the spiritual leader of the facility. In exchange, Alice and a group known as the Neighborhood Watch have been fighting back, attempting to find Reverend Thomas and the others, and learning more and more just how deep and dark that well goes. And along the way, happened to help out by destroying a hive, which was not their intention, as they had been tracking down missing persons, but it did work to the Sept and the city's benefit because of their efforts. To get Alice's help in the fight against Piney Point, the fight against the plants, the pack, being the good people they are, volunteered to assist in helping track down Reverend Thomas and the others that were taken, and perhaps to figure out what the deep, dark, evil secret is behind their kidnappings. That being said, let's begin our story tonight. Aspen, you have had a lot on your plate over the past several months, and honestly, the past 2 years, really, if we're being completely honest. And this has stirred up a lot of thoughts, a lot of questions, a lot of need for information. And while you have had a lot of resources, like Charles, like the other Sept members, like Matthias and Anna Pelfrey, the best source of information, at least in the minds of all Silverfangs, is their patron, Falcon. For Falcon sees into the distance, sees the path ahead, possibly better than anyone else you could make contact with. It's been a while since you've had a conversation with Falcon. In fact, in your last meeting, you found out that there were remnants of Grandmother Willow still out there somewhere that had been taken and possibly corrupted by the cult of Fenris, and you had been tasked with destroying it. But because the cult fled the city after the storms, you haven't really gotten any idea as to where they ended up or where the location of this corrupted seed could be. So that has kind of been put on the back burner amidst all of the other things you're having to deal with. And now with the news of what happened at the Michigan mine, with the assault by the Black Spiral Dancer army, it seems this creates so many more questions and a need for guidance. So we find ourselves at the cairn late in the evening, a roaring fire burning in the fire pit. What's going through your mind as you prepare to call upon Falcon?
There are so many questions about what happened in Michigan, about what plans Black Spiral dancers have with us, maybe, just in general, and knowing that Xander may have a connection to, or does have a connection to, Bat, it makes it all the more concerning that it could eventually come to our doorstep. So wanting answers, or at least some sort of guidance in what their plans are, or what I can do to stop or quell or keep this at bay with everything else that we're trying to accomplish. And the best person to ask is Falcon.
So how are you going to go about calling upon your patron, bringing them forth to the cairn?
She is going to bring out the little falcon statue that she has, that she's had from the last time she summoned him, as well as pulling out some moonstones that she has, making a circle in front of the fire, and calling out to Falcon, looking up to the sky and waiting for some sense that he's around.
Okay, give me a charisma and persuasion, or manipulation and persuasion, depending on what your intentions are. Try and beckon them forward.
Rage 1.
Yeah, I think rage 1. Though you might feel a little bit of anxiety in calling your patron forward, it's not enough to raise your rage or roil you up inside, as they are your patron after all, and they still seem to be favoring you.
That would be 7 with the crit.
Okay, it doesn't take long whatsoever as you call out Falcon, asking them to come forward. Even though you don't have yourself over to the other side in the Umbra, you hear the beating of wings and then the sighing of a tree branch from the nearby perimeter. A few moments later, the wings beat once more, and you see the raven, or the falcon, settle on the other side of the fire, dark black eyes reflecting the firelight, looking back at you. In your head, because the bird doesn't speak, what is it, my child? You have questions?
So many. And she'll slightly bow her head. I had a lot going on as of recent. And there's a threat at all of our doorsteps, I think. And I just need more perspective, I guess, with everything, but that would be a really long conversation. But at least potential of spirals.
You are worried?
Kind of comes with the territory, doesn't it?
Then ask.
What are they planning? What are the Black Spirals planning? And why are they attacking in such mass?
As the cracks formed, the plan began. As the mass shattered, an opportunity presented itself. The apocalypse is upon us, but that isn't new. But this opportunity it's a chance for revenge, a chance for a shift in the wind. They seek what they have always sought: utter annihilation. But this time, they are united and organized.
Why now?
If not now, when? The nation has never been weaker than it is now. You know this. They know this. The moves have already been happening. This is just the first time you're seeing it openly and with great force.
So they've attacked others before? I mean, in this way.
Smaller, but yes. Even this place.
Are they finding their way here again?
Like a cancer, they will spread. Their eyes aren't focused here directly. But if they aren't stopped, eventually they will reach this place once more.
How do we stop it?
You can never truly stop it. Not entirely. As long as the worm is corrupted, it will continue to devour. But this particular threat you can't.
Why not?
You are few and they are many. They are united.
If we could get more, if we could find others.
If. That's the question. If. Theoretical at best. Or the cracks run deep. The divide is great and continues to grow. You know this. They know this. And they will do everything they can to keep that division. To allow the cracks to go further, to spread, to shatter.
What about Xander here? Does that bring more threat?
Wherever there are servants of the worm, there is threat. Even if they don't know. But this one is peculiar. An anomaly. What once was gone returns in a way no one could have foreseen, not even I. But just as you heard it, just as he heard it, so too did his patron, his maker, his creator. An opportunity. Not yet fully realized or seized, but growing.
How do we stop it? How do we stop it from taking control?
Create an alternative. Something equal, but better. They are fighting over his very soul. But as of yet, they are unopposed. Not on the same plane or level as they are. Currently, there is no equal to bat in the minds of the Camazons. But there could be.
How do we find it?
Follow the screams.
You don't think he's a threat to this place right now?
He's most certainly a threat to this place right now. But how much of a threat varies. Day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute. He's fighting a losing battle, but he's still fighting.
What of the other ones? I know, being one of yours, it's kind of our role to outweigh the pros and the cons and motivate and lead. With all of the Farah coming here because of this place. What, I guess, am I doing the right thing?
Why should I know?
Do you think I'm doing the right thing?
Do you?
Most of the time, yes. But, you get all of the questions on your plate waiting for answers. It becomes a little difficult to know what the right answer is.
You don't need all of the answers to do the right thing. If you know it's right. If you know it in your mind and in your heart, it is certainly right. It's when those two come into conflict that is where confusion arises. That's where contradiction lives. But if you are united in mind and spirit, how can it be wrong? But in the questioning, in asking, you are not united. You doubt yourself and your intentions. You doubt your actions. So I ask again, why should I know? I am not you.
Fair enough, I guess. You make excellent points. Just, sometimes a little guidance is helpful. But you did, in your own way. Kind of gotten used to this back and forth at this point.
Place myself upon the scale to take away accountability for your actions, is to relieve you of the burden of leadership. That is something I cannot do, for it is yours.
Part of me wants to ask you, what would be the bigger detriment? Because I have people here that don't want this alliance with the leeches, want to move away from that. I have others that have quietly resigned themselves to the fact that that's how that's supposed to be, and well, others at certain times thinking it's a terrible idea and I'm making a huge mistake. I want to ask what would be a bigger detriment is to make this alliance knowing that they have caused problems here and to Gaia, or to take out the threats now and I guess see it as it comes.
Is this you asking?
I just feel like I'm going to get another, what do you think? And do you think you're making the right decision? And so it seems a bit of a moot point at this point.
Situations are a parallel. Yours and his. He has not the tools to fight, and therefore he loses. If you were to give up the tools to fight, what does it matter what threats remain? Pride. Pride is what keeps them unwilling. If you don't have the tools to combat the greater threat, what does it matter? You will lose. Not immediately, eventually.
I guess it just sometimes feels like figuring out what the greater threat is difficult, and I don't just mean from my own bias. It's just hard when you don't know what lies in the future and what the lesser of two evils really is when you haven't seen it at its peak.
Trust yourself. You know. You can see what lies ahead. Be mindful of the road and the distance, but recognize the immediate. Recognize what's standing in front of you, but be aware of what's all around you, no matter how distant. The spirals, the leeches, the infection, the humans. What sets us apart is our ability to recognize all of it, to bear witness to all of it, to track all of it, but to prioritize.
Okay, I think I can do that, even with what feels like 1,000 things to figure out which to prioritize. Seems like a daunting task most of the time.
Do you?
Do I what?
You think you can do it? Or do you know you can do it?
I think I can do it. I don't know much of anything, but I think that I was the one given the responsibility by people that I care about and trust more than anything. And if they trust me, then I can't deny them that.
You know more than you think. You know more than you're aware of. But in your effort to be amenable, to be liked, to be respected, you silence that knowledge. You hide from it behind the opinions of others. But you know, because that is the gift we bear.
Damn it. I hate when you're right, and you're always right.
You
You know,
will
I could have
have
had
to
a rat.
choose. We hunt rats.
Fair enough.
You will have to choose, as you have chosen before. Do you want to be liked, or do you want to lead?
I have to lead.
Then make the tough decisions. Choose a path, choose a threat, and don't look back. Don't question, don't doubt. The only way is forward.
Okay.
Anything else?
So many questions. But I don't think any that you could really answer for me, unless you want to tell me exactly how I can bring down Piney Point and move on to the next thing.
I've already told you. But not in the way you think. Dwell on the spiral. How have they been more successful this time? That's your answer.
So unifying here and dividing there?
Yes. Many pieces are coming together. Some may call it coincidence. Others may call it fate. We call it strategy. Bring those pieces together. Divide the others. And strike.
I can do that.
Yes. But will
Also,
you?
I think I can make it happen. Also, I think you should talk to Charles more. I think you guys would get along really well. Extremely well, actually. It's just weird with the whole spirit thing.
Charles has been in denial of his fate. Therefore, he refuses to listen. He serves, and he serves well. And he remembers his teachings. But as long as he refuses to look further down the road and acknowledge what's coming, he will stumble blindly in the dark.
Okay.
One last thing. Beware the sibling.
What sibling?
Falcon just stares at you.
She tries not to roll her eyes while she nods. Okay, I'll beware.
The bird hops its way around the fire and then up onto the table, reaches down and takes one of the moonstones in its beak, cocks its head at you, and then bobs up and down a few times before spreading its wings and taking off into the sky. What's going through your mind after this conversation with your patron?
I think what really needed to be heard in all of that was to trust not just herself, but her instincts, where she thinks she needs to go, what she thinks she needs to do, and trusting that side of herself more, because it's very easy to question with everything happening, but knowing that it's okay and it's good to trust that part of yourself and to just move forward, even though it might make some people unhappy. It's not something she's not used to, so it's not like it hasn't happened before. But it just gives her the drive to keep going. And even though the black spirals are now very concerning, to just focus on what the biggest threat is and to move forward from that helps keep her in the mind space of moving forward. And the sibling, which sibling? Whose sibling? Is it Juniper? Is it Jester? Is it some other sibling I don't know about? What sibling? Whose sibling? When sibling? And that's going to bother her for a long while. So in between getting all of the things she needs to get done, it's going to be in the back of her mind for a really long time, because it's a very interesting knowledge that she needs to get.
Spirits, however wise they may be, cause so much confusion, so much chaos, so much uncertainty. It's a wonder the Guru have any chance of winning if that is their strongest ally. With that, we transition to our next scene. Jace, you find yourself at the apartment of Aspen and Artie, sat once more upon the couch that you once called a bed for a while. Around you, you can see that there are several boxes, as if they've been packing. Several of the decorations, several of the appliances have been packed up and put away into boxes. One of the things that remains, however, is the entire bank of monitors and the computer that Artie sits at, tapping viciously, voraciously. There is a large cylindrical can with the lid or the top popped, and you can see several others empty surrounding it. Okay, so based off of what you said, what Skeeter? Really? Skeeter? Like mosquito?
Yeah, there's a Skeeter, a Dodger, an Ollie, and a Malin. Those are the ones I've met so far.
Great. Let me know when Fagin comes around.
You got it. Good movie.
Better book.
True.
Okay, so based off of what you're telling me, I do see a lot of activity in the financial district. It seems that one of the major investment firms has been seeing a lot of transactions, mostly withdrawals. But there is also a large transfer going to an unknown entity overseas, obviously a shell corporation, but the trail gets lost there. Someone is making financial moves. How this ties in to what's happening, I couldn't begin to say. It could be slave trade. It could be making problems disappear. Could be just seizing an opportunity based off of the state of everything right now, all of the chaos that's happening. Scooping up properties and businesses as they become vacant. Vacant, he says with air quotes. But I can't help but think that the two are connected in some way. Someone is paying someone else for something. And it wouldn't surprise me if it has something to do with the people disappearing. But what I can't figure out is why these people. You mentioned volunteers at the Ministries, and I looked up their information. I looked at the security footage you provided, and it's no better than anything that you've seen on social media lately. Just one of a rash of horrible events, but nothing unusual. It's meeting the MO of everything else I've seen. So, whatever this evil is that Alice says she thinks is involved, it's not happening at the event itself, at the abductions. It's happening somewhere else, behind the scenes. Unsurprisingly.
Yeah. They're resourceful, which is awful that they are able to do what they can. When you looked at the footage, did you get an overall heading, like which way they went? Were you able to track them to a certain area?
I mean, I did see them take off, but where they headed, it was hard to track them beyond that. I can say that they did head out of the city. They were headed remote. So I would say wherever you're looking, it's not going to be in the immediate vicinity, but it's likely also not going to be that far. Could be that they headed south towards the camp. But you're going to have a hard time getting there.
You can't really just run in there and start liberating people.
A lot of people have tried, and they even haven't been successful themselves.
They're not us, but I'm not wanting to suggest that because enough overall push for that, someone might eventually say yes. And yeah, that'd be
also a lot of attention.
A lot. Yeah, the way Skeeter described it to me, it's mostly money that's being moved around. There hasn't been any people that he hadn't seen foot traffic at all. It's more of just these drops that are happening, and that's it. As far as people, nothing.
So we know that they're taking the people, but we don't know what they're doing with them.
Correct. And you're saying there's offshore things going on. Where, like, we talking cross sea, like offshore, like continent different?
Switzerland.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
But plenty of organizations are going to have offshore bank accounts for financial transactions. I mean, that's not, could be Pentex, could be the leeches, could be, it's standard practice in the high financial district. They're moving money that they want to disappear, or at least whoever it's going to doesn't want it tracked or traced. But that also means there's a big power player doing something. And where's the surprise? There's plenty of power players moving into this area, it seems, but this is something else. I decided to expand my search and look around the city as to what could be the meaning. Well, they're still having a food shortage. Blood banks are having a hard time getting volunteers. And those that are, the stocks are being tracked very closely.
He'll get up from the couch, trying to step over all the boxes. And Artie, if we were to create a hiccup, are we able to try and apprehend the money being moved? That could cause them to try and fix the overall issue. If you create that lapse, would you then be able to track it a little bit easier? Because then they're going to have to recover if you stop a transaction from happening.
Could potentially misdirect the funds, have them go elsewhere, make it look like a bank error, or it's going to be risky. Because depending on who they're dealing with, they likely have pretty solid transactional security and they will notice interference. But I can try.
Yeah, you're Arthur fucking Garfield. They don't have you. We do. So get the click clack and make sure put like one of the little bug things in there or something. So they end up moving it. Track the bitch.
Okay. I can do that. Or at least I can try to.
I base all of this off of like 80s films. So I'm really just talking out my ass here, but
yeah, it'd be nice if computers worked the way that they showed them in films. Anybody could do it at that point. Okay, so while I'm working on that, what are you going to do?
Well, while you're doing that, first you want to explain that, point back over to like the living room.
Yeah. Well, considering everything that's happened lately with boundaries being drawn, truces, the like, Aspen thought it was best that we move maybe a little bit more remote, maybe closer to the cairn. Nothing too distant or crazy, but we could use a little bit more space, both physically and emotionally, logistically, from the threats. We're so close to the downtown area and everything, and while it's nice to have eyes on them, it's also nice to get a full night's sleep.
But you're a city dweller like me.
Oh, I hate it.
Okay.
This is not my favorite choice, but it makes sense strategically. And actually, if anything, it'll provide me a base to go back to close to the cairn that I can breathe again. And it's not too remote. It's just more towards the outskirts, north side.
Okay. All right. I know how much I didn't like being there. I love the cairn. I really do. And being a theater, I thrive being there. I really do. But you get it better than almost anyone. The city is where it's at. It's where everything happens.
It's the heartbeat of the Weaver, that's for sure. And if we're going to root out worm activity, it's good to keep your fingers on the pulse of the city, especially with leeches and pentex and all the like. But it also means having to watch your back a lot, and I get that. I just I don't know, I've lived here a long time, and it was a nice refuge, a nice hiding spot, but that's when there weren't any other guru around, so things
Now there's a
change.
few.
And Aspen always is interested in the future, focused on the future, and my future's with her wherever it goes. So
Well, I don't really want to argue that, so I am happy for you guys. Weird. I nothing against you. Did not. If I would have saw you guys walking next to each other, would not have put you two together.
oh, you should have seen me before.
Really?
Yeah, it was it was the most unlikely of pairings, but that's where the most beautiful things are found. Speaking of which, what's this I hear about you having a secret admirer or not so secret?
How'd you hear about that?
We both know the city, and I helped set up your security.
Peeping Tom. Okay.
Consider it concerned guardian.
Voyeurism is what it's called, but sure.
All right, let's not get gross.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of caught me by surprise too. I don't know how to feel about it.
Makes sense. It's probably comforting and also uncomfortable to have relations nearby, even if they aren't direct.
You saw the eyes she was making, right?
She's young. And you're a looker.
Yeah, but it looked like she wanted to eat me, and not like the fun like eat me.
Yeah, you should see the way Jester looks at Charles sometimes. I get it. It's very predatory.
Curiosity, yes, but you know what? I'm good. But the overall relations with the Ratkin are going well, so I will continue to play my part with that in order to keep getting the information they're giving is good. And so if I have to play the part as eye candy in order to keep the intel rolling, I will.
Well, let me know if you're looking for any wardrobe suggestions or anything. I've discovered style in the past year, so, I'd be happy to help you out.
You call that style?
Call that style?
This is grunge, and apparently it works. I guess you got Aspen. I don't know.
Listen, I got the whole sexy dark professor thing going on.
Is that what you're calling it? Not the quirky kid that sits on the bench by themselves eating the peanut butter sandwich, just peanut butter?
No, that was my previous look.
Oh, okay.
But in all seriousness, how are you with everything? I know there's a lot of distractions that are probably keeping you busy, but I also know that you lost a lot recently.
I try not to think about it.
That's only going to get you so far.
Yeah, but it's working. And being sad isn't fixing anything. Doing something about it is. trying to make moves, do these different things, are able to repay what was done. If I sit there and just sulk and feel bad about what's happening, nothing gets fixed.
There's a difference between sulking and mourning.
Still sitting.
Yeah. That's not a bad thing. Doesn't have to be forever. Doesn't even have to be all the time. But there's a time for action, and then there's everything else. And if you don't tend to the everything else, it just gets bigger and worse. You should see the pups. They have spent most of their lives avoiding everything else, to the point that it's like they're carrying the heaviest, biggest backpack on their backs. And it's been weighing them down. We're talking years of untended to issues. It's going to affect what you do, whether you mean it to or not.
The purpose of how you utilize a feeling can dictate on the overall actions that are portrayed through it. If you sit and sulk on it, yeah, it can weigh you down. If you don't overall face, I faced it. It sucks. Doing nothing isn't going to fix it. Putting it towards something, I'm seeing it as a way to remedy the actions that were taken, because the way I see it, I sat here and they died.
That's not what happened. That's maybe what you're feeling right now, but that's not what happened. That's not what I saw. You were here fighting the exact same fight that we all fight. You just happened to be in the right place at the right time, where they were in the wrong place. You weren't sitting anywhere, Jace. You can't just sit anywhere.
What are you suggesting, Artie? That I sit and talk about my feelings?
If you want to, I'm always here for that, but I think what you need to do is what your moon dictates you do. You need to say goodbye in the way that only you can. Because whether you like it or not, it happened. And the only way to accept that happening is to say what you're dreading saying. It's a common issue. Hell, I probably am carrying around plenty of brother baggage myself. So, I'm giving you advice I should probably take.
That's usually how these things go.
Yeah. That's why therapists need therapy. But
if it was one of them, it would be a lot easier.
yeah.
But everyone that I knew is gone.
I know.
So my past has basically been wiped. I have memories. I have no one else to share them with that can recollect the things that happened to share in that moment. It's gone.
I'm going to ask you a question that's obvious, that you obviously have the answer to. Did you love them?
Yes,
Did you respect them?
absolutely.
Did they do great things?
All the time.
And from what I've heard, what I know about Guru culture, and you're going to have to follow up with Eliza on this, a part of them will remain as long as you are there to keep it going. Something having to do with ancestors. Jester has been really keen on that, but you can still connect with the impression that they've made. Our actions leave impressions in the Umbra. And while it's not truly us, supposedly, although in our case it's going to be a whole different ball of wax, they're still alive in a way as long as you continue to keep them alive. As long as you continue to tell the stories that you know.
I don't think I'm ready to say that goodbye, though.
It's okay. I get it. Just work towards being ready, no matter how slow or long it takes. That's the direction you need to be looking in. That's the direction you need to be heading. Because any other direction that you go, all roads are either going to lead to you getting there or you joining them. Those are the only options. And trust me, we don't need you joining them anytime soon. We're still here for you. And your past isn't erased. Just like the past of the world isn't erased. Because you're here to still carry the torch, to carry the stories, to make sure it's not forgotten or erased.
I told you how annoying ragabashes are. I mentioned that to you at all, that you guys fucking suck.
We're an annoying breed.
No, you're good at it, though.
This is just coming from somebody who cares about you. This has nothing to do with auspices or my new job title or anything like that. I saw it happen with Aspen. I don't want to see it happen with you. Grief will consume you, no matter how hard you fight it. And it will affect and potentially destroy the things around you you still care about, if it's not seen to. Revenge will only get you so far.
Revenge sounds pretty good, though.
I'm not saying you won't get it. I'm not saying you shouldn't get it. I'm just saying, don't make that your only focus. It's not going to bring them back. It's not going to it's only going to help so much. They wouldn't want you destroying yourself just to honor them. There are so many other ways you can do it as well.
I will give it a shot.
That's all I ask. And again, if you ever do have feelings that you don't want to bury down deep inside, or those that you want to dig up, I'm here. And I'd love to hear stories about them.
There are some pretty good ones.
They're no less good now than they were then. If anything, they're more.
You brought up brotherly advice. What do you mean by that?
I lost my brother in my first change. I didn't kill him, but in a way I did. I scared him bad enough that it led to him dying. And you have to understand that he, like you, and your situation, was all I had, or at least all I thought I had. And for a long time, it felt that way until I met this pack, until other guru came to town. And it's taken time to realize that while he was the best thing in my life, it was during that time, and it's okay to have other best things. I have a lot of great things now. In the change?
Yeah, like you said, during the time he was all you had.
Yeah, my mother had passed away, and I was the caretaker of both of us. I had been for a while before that, but it kind of became official when she was gone. And yeah, it was the two of us against the world.
There's no dad? No father?
No. I never knew my dad.
Do you want to meet him?
What do you mean? Like one day ever?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never really thought about it. If anything, I'd be afraid of what I would do.
I can understand that feeling. Artie, you know how I was in Tampa for a while before coming to talk to any of you guys?
Yeah.
Just kind of understanding the city, getting to know things. I also kind of picked up some tabs on everyone.
I'd expect nothing less.
With that being said, I know about your disdain for chickens because of what happened. Long before even moving in with you, I knew that you hate chicken. Also, now it is completely up to you. But if you wanted to meet your dad, or at least know where he's at, he's not too far.
Artie stops, and you can hear his breath is like he's not even breathing for a moment. That's a big one.
Well, you just helped me with something, so, and dropped some heavy knowledge, so I thought I'd reciprocate.
I will need some time to think on that, but I will keep it in mind. There's a lot more pressing things to focus on.
Absolutely. I never knew my parents. My memories are of a lot of parental figures that shouldn't be parents. But if I had a chance to talk to my parents and ask them different things to understand why their choices were made, now that might be my wanting to know, my eagerness for knowledge. But I would want to talk to them.
Take it from a fellow kid with strange parent things. Your parents are the one that raise you and teach you, not the ones who gave you DNA. My mom was
Absolutely.
amazing, and there will be never anyone like her for me. She taught me sacrifice. She taught me survival. She taught me perseverance through very, very difficult situations. No absentee dad is going to replace that. And while I sure would love to know why, at the same time, it doesn't matter. It happened.
You turned out great.
That's
Hey, look at you now. That style
no,
aside,
I know.
you have a
Style
nice big old
aside.
cushy job. You're engaged. I get things are looking up. Things are awesome for you.
Oh, I know, and I don't regret a single one of them. I am grateful and consider myself extremely lucky to have what I have. But so did you. Style aside. Grunge was like 1999. I know you weren't born yet, but
It worked really well in Ohio. Everyone pretty much in Columbus dresses similar, except they always did the flannel thing. I can't do flannel. So no.
you said the keyword Ohio. So, yeah. Grunge
So much
describes it, right?
hate for Ohio.
You turned out amazing. We are very lucky to have you here. And as alone as you might feel at the worst of times, don't forget we're here and we care. We care very much. And you're not actually alone.
I'm aware you guys keep reminding me, like showing up to the bar when I'm trying to leave. coming out on evenings with me to summon spirits and chat with me in their disgusting apartment with boxes everywhere.
Disgusting. Again, you should have seen it before she moved in. We have throw pillows.
Yeah, they're uncomfortable. Why the sequence?
I can't speak to that, but thrift stores. I don't know if that's where we got them.
Okay, explain that to me. She's a goddamn lawyer. Why the thrift stores? Shouldn't you begin like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, and all that kind of fun stuff?
She's not that kind of lawyer. Environmental law doesn't pay well. But Aspen is one of the most grounded people I've ever met. She's humble. She's
Humble?
honest. Yeah, she's humble.
Yeah, I've not heard the conversations her and I have had.
Oh, I'm
Humble.
sure. But she is. I think sometimes she doesn't value herself as much as she should. And that's why I make the extra effort to value her for her. Because you're right. She could go above and beyond and go all out and go full Silver Fang like Charles.
Maybe not that far.
But it's an act. It's a costume. It's a shield. Aspen can stay modest and live the way she does because she has what she really needs. Someone to love her and care about her and accept her unconditionally. Someone who doesn't expect her to be anything else than what she is. First, that was Aiden. And lucky enough, it gets to be me.
And she's lucky to have you.
I'm the lucky one.
Good. You keep saying that, especially when she's around. So, brownie points.
I say it even when she isn't around. You should have seen me before. It was just... At the time, I didn't see how ridiculous it was, but... I'll stop with all the therapy talk after this, because, again, we've got a lot of work to do, but don't shut off your heart. I'm not talking about going and betting a ratkin teenager, but I'm saying don't close yourself off because of what you've lost. They would never want that for you. You have a lot of people here who care about you and love you and want you to be happy. If you shut yourself off to them, you're ensuring that that doesn't happen. And who knows? Maybe some werepeacock or something will come into town and take a liking to you, and they'll be of appropriate age, and, you know, I don't know.
Okay. I'm not saying I'm up to date on all of the changes. There better not be no fucking werepeacocks.
I hope not also, but I'm just getting surprised more and more. I mean,
because the fucking dragon was enough.
That
okay?
that was absurd. Yeah, but also now you're saying that there are fairies around, so I don't know anymore, man. I just, all bets are off. There could be a were pencil sitting on my desk. That'd be terrifying.
What do you think its war form would be? Would it be like a bigger pencil?
A Sharpie.
Ooh, permanent. Makes sense. But fine tip. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll talk to Eliza about it. See what her thoughts are on it. Love to hear her insight. And I'll tell her it was your idea if it goes poorly.
Yeah, I'd love to see her eye roll to all of that. I'm sure she realizes how absurd that is, but okay.
The Artie overall.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here when we needed you. Thank you for not going and running off, as hard as that may still be. And if I know you, like I know myself, you still have a bag ready. And that's not from spying. I have a bag ready. It's just habit. But don't use it.
I do have a bag. Every day I walk past it and I think about grabbing it. But because of you guys, I don't. Now, enough of this cushy shit, okay? You do your weird things. Is there anything you need me to do? You need to track down anything? What do you need me to look into?
I have a couple of potential priority targets that they haven't hit yet. And before they get too slippery, maybe it'd be good to get eyes on them and see if there's anything to watch out for, because if they're going to strike again, it's likely to be one of these targets.
Are they within an area that we're not allowed to go?
Unfortunately, some of them are, but not all of them. The less fortunate tend to have to be more towards the outskirts, not directly downtown.
Well, I'll look at the outskirts and then I can reach out to Skeeter and his crew to do the ones in town.
I'll send you a list as soon as I have it.
Yeah.
As the two of you get back to work for a little while longer before saying your goodbyes, what's going through your mind after this interaction with Artie?
That's still that pit that sits down there where he's just pissed about what happened. That fire that just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Artie has a way of talking and dousing that flame a little bit. It's still there. It's just not raging as much as it was. His understanding of what he's going through, what a lot of the pack has, understanding what he's going through, is helping. He's been also holding that his father is nearby for a while, and that felt pretty good to let him know. But he's not sure if he opened a can of worms with that or not. But he's also there for the ride for it, just to kind of see how it goes.
And with that, we transition to our next scene. Jester, after your little adventure to Gatorland, you found that the task ahead of liberating the gators, as you were given by She Who Shines, is a little bit more complicated, as Gatorland is home to over 2,000 gators. And there are, at best, 8 of you. And being Guru, animals don't tend to be too comfortable around you to begin with. Now add several 100-pound gators with large, sharp teeth and a vicious disposition. It's going to make this task a little bit more complicated. But one of the details you picked up were a particular pod of gators that seemed to be very aware of you, aware of the surroundings, much more intelligent than most of the residents of Gatorland. So, you seek clarification from She Who Shines, as she may not have been fully comprehending what she was asking you to do, or if she was, that just makes her a big fat jerk. An unwinnable situation. So, being the emissary to the Farah, as is now your title from Aspen, you head back to the swamp belonging to She Who Shines. Charles goes with you, unwilling to send you into that mosquito-infested dragon cave by yourself. But as the two of you arrive, you find that you are greeted by the same pair of gators that greeted you the first time. Roll me a wits and investigation as you see these gators.
What's my rage at?
I would say you're probably at a rage 2 going into this situation, only because you know what she's capable of, and while you're not a completely unexpected guest, you are going into very dangerous territory.
I got 2 successes.
2 successes. Looking at the gators, you can tell that they have a similar awareness to them. They're very focused. But one of the features that stands out now beyond that, since you already knew from your first interaction with them, is the coloring. The coloring of these particular gators matches that of the gators in Gatorland, the aware gators in Gatorland. As you were greeted by them, they begin leading you on the path, but this time the shorter path, the more direct path, the non-scenic route, as it were, although all of it can be considered scenic if you're a fan of swamps. And eventually, you find yourself approaching the meeting place with She Who Shines, who sits upon a picnic table that she has clearly taken from the park itself and moved deeper into the swamp. She has what looks to be a deer laid out on the table that she is slowly butchering as she sends pieces of the meat off into the waters, and you can hear a snapping as other gators help themselves to the offerings. As you approach, you can see that she has blood almost all the way up to her elbows, but the rest of her is put together in a similar fashion as before. Her head shaved except for the single stalk of hair which is braided into a ponytail. The same tattoos going up her arms in a very scaled fashion. As you approach, she looks to you. Back already?
Yes. A couple of things I wanted to talk to you about and ask you. First off, would you like help?
I'm all right, thank you.
Okay.
It's a bonding process.
Is that why they're so different than others?
One of the reasons.
I went to. Well, we scouted Gatorland. Saw definitely a group quite like yours here. And so I was wondering if those were the ones in particular you wanted liberated.
She focuses her eyes on you and she stares, and her stare has such an intensity that it almost bores through you. Give me a composure and resolve.
Uh, 2 successes.
You find yourself a little bit shaken inside, but you manage to stand your ground. Yes. Those are the ones.
Honestly, that's kind of a relief to hear since there are about 2,000 gators and crocodiles in Gatorland, and trying to free them all would be an epic task.
Task the mighty Guru are incapable of. Who'd have thought such a thing existed?
We're great at some things, but we're not that great.
Yes, I suppose there isn't enough genocide involved for your kind to be great at it. But
Well, I really wouldn't want to lead towards genocide. Thanks. Not really into that. Not my thing.
I'm becoming more aware of that the more I get to know you. Ideally, I would say you liberate them all, but I know that is going to be no small feat and quite likely impossible. Some of them have become so docile and settled that it's very unlikely they would want to leave, even with your insistence, and they would likely fight you to avoid leaving.
That was one of the problems we came across. I mean, a lot of them have been hatched and raised there. It's all they know. And when something or someone is forced to leave all they know, they usually try to fight it, even if it is a bad situation.
Yes. I won't ask that much of you. But it seems you've been able to identify the ones I want liberated.
They have the same coloring as those, and they act similar.
They are the equivalent to my nieces and nephews. I was born to a clutch, and they continued to have children. Well, those particular children, being adventurous and full of wanderlust, got themselves captured. Now, they say it's to preserve them. And while that might be true, the facility isn't entirely terrible. It is keeping our kind safe, but they should be elsewhere. There is an obvious threat to them, and I don't know what it is.
While we were there, we saw a ghoul. So there might be leech involvement. Somehow.
All the more reason to get them out as soon as possible. The leeches aren't beyond feeding upon the wildlife, especially when desperate.
Fair. I've heard some prefer it.
Disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say like We do it occasionally too, but then again, we're not leeches, so
We do it the way nature intended. She says as she cuts off another large chunk of meat and tosses it over her shoulder to the two gators that brought you here who are waiting with mouths open.
I'll just hold the sarcastic, yep, that's exactly how nature intended to myself. Just keep that in the back of my head. We plan on moving very soon, within the next few days.
Good.
Do you want them brought here?
Yes.
Cool. That I can do. I've helped arrange for some transportation to transport them from Gatorland.
Good.
The other thing I wanted to talk to you about was we've heard talk of possible black spiral dancers here. Of course, our source said they were visiting, so I don't know if they stayed, but there was an attack up north, a major attack in Michigan. So I wanted you to just have a heads up in case you come across any murderous Garu in the area.
Any more murderous Garu in the area?
Murderous and antagonistic towards you. We're trying not to be that.
So far, you're doing an adequate job.
Well, good. Glad to be adequate.
I appreciate the precaution. And I will keep my wits about me.
Have you seen any other plant issues crop up?
Not in the swamp here.
Okay, good. We're gathering some resources that we have found will permanently remove them.
Good.
I guess you should also keep an eye. We found some forms of the creatures that those infected become, like, seem to have some ability to be able to travel underground.
Interesting. They're evolving.
Yeah.
All the more reason to settle the affair as soon as possible.
Yes. It'll be a few days. I will contact you when we're done to arrange to meet.
Good. If any of the others wish to escape with you,
They can come.
bring them here.
I will.
Without saying anything else, she turns back to the deer.
Turn. Pause for a moment. Thanks for giving us a chance. I don't have your memories per se. Definitely not all of them like you do. I've had an experience where I've felt memories of past Garu, but to experience what I have learned has happened sounds terrible. And I know it's hard to trust.
She stops for a moment before continuing butchering the deer and says, without turning to look at you, normally I wouldn't have. But what you have awakened stirs a memory deep inside. A memory of Guru unlike other Guru. And if you're anything like them, you will have earned that trust. But if you're anything like the others, you will earn something else.
Going to try to earn your trust.
I won't be as naive as my predecessors.
Don't be. We're not a monolith. We're not even close anymore.
She doesn't say anything, but you can see she nods a little bit.
All right, I'm gonna head off. Got a little more planning to do.
She raises a bloody hand up in farewell as you and Charles head back down the path you took to get here. I like her.
I can see it.
I still want to fight her.
I can see that too. I can relate. I mean, I try to fight every Arun I come across, right?
I think you have a chance with most of them.
I'll hit you eventually. It's going to happen.
I look forward to that day. Even if it is
Okay.
just a fantasy.
Don't ruin it.
The two of you return to the car. Your thoughts on what lies ahead, your thoughts on this mission. But what else are you thinking about?
I hope that if we do gain her trust, it doesn't get fucked up with all the bullshit politics that Garu go through. Yeah, we're concentrated on Vanessa and Piney Point, and it feels relatively isolated here because nobody really wants to come to Tampa. But if we start actually making this place, we have been, but if we do more to make this place safer and better, more will come, and that's when all the bullshit politics start.
It's difficult to be the anomaly to the norm. The Croatan knew this very, very well. And that's why there are no more. Will Tampa fall to a similar fate? the anomaly consumed by the normal? Or will they create a new normal? With that, we go to break. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the assault on Gatorland. See you shortly. Welcome back. As we return in the second half, we find ourselves at the renowned theme park known as Gatorland. It is an attraction, to be sure, and distinctly Florida, as it bears all of the tourist traps and tricks, but also it's gator themed. So, you know, what reminds you of Florida more than hurricanes, gators, and strange people? All which can be found here depending on the time of year. Now you've parked a distance away from the facility. Jester, you know this to be in a location or a vicinity close enough that with some maneuvering, you can probably get to the swamp side of the facility, the one with the raised wooden walkways that you had been looking at earlier, your best and most likely point of entry. Something that you've observed from the facility, scouting it out before, is that you can see that there is a vehicle, or at least a couple of vehicles present, nighttime security. Now, this isn't unusual, as it is a theme park, it is a large, renowned location, and it is likely that people would do something foolish, so they have to hire 24-hour security to make sure that doesn't happen. This could present a complication. Now, you've considered all of the other possibilities. You have Artie on standby to cut the security cameras, but the security guards could be an issue. So as all of you stand near the vehicle, the scene is yours.
I hope you guys brought clothes that you might want to throw away afterwards. We're probably going to be going through swamp.
You bring this up now.
I mean, yeah. It seemed obvious since we were going to a place full of gators.
I'm good to go. You take the lead. You know the most about what's going on here.
There's an area that we're going to move around to that seems to have the least security, but there looks like there might be security guards here, which could be a problem.
If we move quick enough, we keep an eye out for the security, we might be able to avoid it, Charles says. But if we do encounter security guards, the best thing to do is to dismantle them, knock them unconscious.
I could put them to sleep.
Even better. Less fun, but better.
Is it just the physical action that's fun? Because I don't think they'd be a challenge for you.
Yes?
Okay. It's fair.
Psycho. Sorry.
If we absolutely needed to, I could preoccupy them, but that kind of takes away discretion in that sense.
Our target, of course, and unfortunately, is located closer to the center of the park. We don't have the fortune of them being near the exterior, would make this job a lot easier. The trick is going to be corralling them into the trailers, which we will have parked at the front of the building for the best access. She who shines says she believes something may be afoot here. Something unusual. No surprise, it is Florida, but also this is a perfect hunting ground, almost like a blood bank of sorts for certain kinds of leeches. So be aware that we may be walking into someone's territory. It wasn't marked on the map. It's not part of the treaty agreement. But it wouldn't surprise me. So just keep your wits about you and keep your eyes on the ground. A certain kind of leeches that prefer these environments have abilities similar to those of the infected.
Have you guys looked in the Umbra here yet?
No.
No.
I'm gonna pop that real quick. Burn a will. Three.
Looking to the other side, while the Weaver definitely has a presence, especially in the surrounding area, as this is Orlando, this park is primarily wild influenced. The buildings and the fences and everything seem to have overgrown with wild energy, with wild spirits. It's almost as if there's a battle between Wild and Weaver constantly going on in this area, as the Weaver is still very strong, what with it being an amusement park. The Wild is still pushing back with the concentration of energy on this side. What you can see, or what you can hear at the very least, is spirits on the other side of the structure moving around. Likely alligator spirits or other spirits of the animals and creatures that dwell within, as they have been residents for a long time, more than 50 years at this park. So they have left a deep impression. And while many gators have lived and thrived, it goes to assume that some have also passed on here. So the impression is deep. But beyond that, you don't notice anything else unusual or out of the norm.
From what I'm seeing, heavy Weaver, but a lot of wild spirits here as well. But I don't see anything really standing out or hear anything standing out too much here.
When Charles and I were scouting, we saw a ghoul working here, so don't know. But maybe he just works here. And like, does weird vampire things later. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows what they do. If you want, I can keep an eye on things on this end and then relay it to you guys.
Could be a good idea, especially if we need to have some influence in communicating with them once we're inside.
Sure.
Charles goes to the trunk, popping the trunk and grabbing some bolt cutters, as well as his usual supplies. He also has a plastic bag from a Publix that is full of raw meat in the styrofoam containers. He holds out the bag. Who wants to be the bait?
I'll take it.
With that, he nods to all of you and begins entering into the woodlands that surround this side of the road.
You guys ready?
Sure.
Yep.
Let's go cause some chaos and free gators.
Hang on, OBS gave me a disconnected, reconnecting. I think we're back. Yes, reconnection successful. Sorry about that. We had a connection issue, but we are still here. Anyway, what were you going to say?
Let's go cause some chaos. free some gators.
As you all follow. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, let's go and play in the swamp with big, sharp-toothed dinosaurs. That sounds fantastic.
As you enter into the woods, I'd like everyone to make me a dexterity and stealth check.
Two.
Three.
1 for Aspen. Okay. Could you also make Aspen and Jace, could you make me wits and survival checks?
Two. 4.
Okay. Jace, you are able to prevent Aspen from stepping into a pool that she would have sunken into with very thick, strong mud that would have likely clung to her and kept her from emerging. Not quite quicksand, but definitely some swamp bog type style mud. So you're able to grab her and kind of pull her from stepping into the mud. But in doing so, you guys step on some fallen sticks, making some loud snaps. Pausing and looking around, nothing seems to have reacted.
You gotta watch where you step, boss.
Yeah. Not the easiest to see, but yeah, okay.
Moving forward, about another 300 or 400 yards in, you eventually reach a large chain link fence. That behind the chain link fence also has another fence, almost like in a prison where they'll have multiple layers of fences. This also has multiple layers of fences. Charles is already hard at work with the wire cutter, bolt cutters, snipping out some of the chain link and opening a hole on the side, this particular front fence.
I'll text Artie to let him know that we're gonna need the cameras cut.
About 30 seconds later, you get a thumbs up emoji and then a lightning emoji and then the person with the crossed arms.
I'll send back the smiling emoji with the heart surrounding it and the little prayer emoji.
As soon as you get through the first fence, Charles puts down a duffel bag and stuffs the wire cutters inside. He then looks up to the about 12-foot high fence. We're likely going to have to scale this one if we don't want to risk letting everyone out or anything in. He then holds out his hands in a cupped formation in front of him as if he's willing to give someone a boost up to climb over.
Aspen will shift into Glabro.
Okay.
As she puts her hand on his shoulder. And I'm good. But yeah, I'll then push up.
Yeah. Give me a strength and athletics. You can take an additional bonus of 2 dice from Charles's assistance.
So you want me to watch from this side, right?
He cocks his head to the side and shakes it slowly.
That is a 6 with a crit.
Easy enough. You find yourself scaling a fence like you've never scaled a fence before, almost vaulting over to the other side where you land comfortably on the ground.
Fine, okay. You'll grab onto Charles's shoulders and attempt to push up and attempt to ascend the fence.
Again, strength and athletics with the 2-die bonus.
He's not in Glabro.
Great.
Okay. Okay, I just wanted to clarify. 1.
While you may get a boost, once you clasp onto the fence, you find yourself just hanging there for a moment before the chain link starts to bite into your fingers, causing you to release and drop back down to the ground.
Let me go first.
Out.
I will also shift into Glabro. I made my rage check. I'm going to climb up, but I'm going to climb up to the top to where, like, I'm kind of like straddling the top so I can give Jace a like hand to help him over.
Okay.
Hold the bag.
Okay.
I'm gonna spend a willpower. Okay, there we go. I got 5 with a crit.
Okay. Yeah, easy enough. You scale to the top and find yourself perched upon the top of the fence, ready to give another hand up. Jace, roll again, but this time you get 3 dice bonus because you've got Charles and Jester assisting.
All right. That's 4.
With the extra help, this time you scale the fence much easier and find yourself pulled over and dropped down to the ground, but you land on your feet. It's not unusual or uncomfortable.
See, it's that easy.
I'll climb over and hop down. Watch him. He's gonna probably like show off and jump over, just like
Yep.
scale the whole thing.
Lo and
Uh-huh.
behold, with a single leap, Charles jumps from one side over the fence to the other, landing in almost like a superhero pose on the other side.
And I get called to show off.
Yours was just as cool, Chase. It was just as cool. And she'll like pat him on the shoulder.
Thank you. I thought I did a great job. Next time, Charles, if you can do that, just have me climb on your back and then go over the fence.
That wouldn't be too emasculating for you.
Oh, riding on Charles Albrecht on top, your bottom. Absolutely, I'm taking that up.
I'll have to get the Guru equivalent of a baby Bjorn for you.
You know what? If you could make it happen, that's fine.
Now that you're on the other side, you see that in front of you extends a swampland. It's dark, extremely dark. So dark, in fact, that the moon hanging up in the sky barely penetrates, making vision very difficult in this particular area. Everyone roll me a wits and awareness, but give me a -2 to those pools if you are not augmenting your sight in some way.
Two.
1.
Okay, so Aspen and Jester, you are effectively blind at the moment. Jace, with the help of your umbral sight still active, it's still dark. Make no mistake about that. But you can get at least a firm sense of your surroundings, at least your immediate surroundings, not necessarily too far beyond, but you can tell where in front of you sturdy ground is versus the swamps themselves, where the pits and the pools of water are. Charles takes a deep inhale and sniff, Keep your wits about you. There are gators in the swamp here. Stick mostly to the solid ground. We're going to make our way towards the raised platforms, about 700 yards in. Okay. Charles immediately starts heading off in a particular direction.
I'm gonna stand there for a few seconds because I don't know any of the bearings, and I heard his voice, and then he disappeared into the darkness. Yeah, fuck this. I'm gonna put the bag down, and I'm gonna shift into lupus, and then pick the bag up with my mouth.
Okay.
And well, before I do, I'll smell so I can get at least smell where he is and try to keep an idea of the ground and everything.
Okay, I'll give you another chance at wits and awareness, but I will give you a bonus dice.
Okay. Am I still at -2 as well?
Now I'll let you make a straight roll in this case.
Okay.
I would like to grab onto Jace's jacket and just hold on to him as we move through, like we're going through a haunted house.
He's walking sure-footed, tapping the foot in front of him as he moves through the swamp. Make sure it's solid before he makes a full step in.
I got 4 successes.
Okay, Jester, dropping down into lupus form through the smell of the appetizing raw meat in the bag. You are also able to pick up the scent of Charles's natural musk odor, as well as your vision adjusting enough for you to be able to make out the shapes of the nearby trees and the water with the light barely reflecting off of it. You're able to move forward through. Jace and Aspen, you are blind as can be, but Jace leading you will assist you on the next roll I need you all to make, which is a dexterity and athletics as you push through the swamp, avoiding and stepping in particular spots. So, Aspen, you can take an additional die to that roll.
I have a question before I roll. Can I roll survival to try to pick out the spots to avoid, or do I already know them?
No, you can do it.
All right.
Yeah, you haven't been through this part of the swamp before. You were only on the platforms when you scouted it out.
Let it go. 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna spend a willpower.
Okay. Always a good sign. 3 successes for Aspen, 3 for Jester. Okay, so the 3 of you make your way through the swamp. It's slow going with Jason the lead taking behind you, Aspen, but he is picking pretty good spots to step in until he finds his foot catching on a little bit of a log and starting to fall forward. Go ahead and make a strength and athletics to try and prop him up to keep him from going down into the water or going down with him.
Three.
Okay, yeah, you are actually able to pull back on his jacket enough to steady him and stop him from dropping in. Jester, you are moving pretty confidently through, but with the commotion of them almost falling behind you, it causes you to pause and look back.
I'll wait for them to catch up.
As they're approaching, behind them, in one of the larger, more murkier pools, you notice what at first seemed like a piece of driftwood or a log or some bark that had fallen in the pool. It starts to move forward slowly through the water, coming towards them.
I will move. I'm going to cause a little bit of noise so I can catch its attention. And then when it looks at me, I'm using stare down.
Okay. So why don't you give me a manipulation and persuasion to first pull its attention towards you, because they are the ones straggling behind and look like easy prey.
I'll turn to Jace and be like, watch your footing there, boss.
3 successes.
A little thirsty, that's all.
Okay, Jester, with a growl and a little bit of a bark, you see the eyes on the what was a piece of driftwood but is now obviously a gator look in your direction, and it kind of steers towards you.
Okay. As it steers towards me, I'll utilize stare down. I did not make my rage, so I'm going down to 1 rage. And then it's charisma and honor. Okay. Uh, 3 successes.
Easy enough. With a focused stare, pulling back your lips to show your teeth, letting the bag drop onto the ground in front of you, you give a long, hard stare menacingly at the gator. It stops its approach and then turns and starts to swim the opposite direction slowly, trying to remain unseen, but very clearly seen by you.
I'll watch it go. I was also like trying to keep awareness of their movement.
Yeah, they're coming towards you as you were waiting for them, so you could see beyond them to the gator in the water behind them.
Yeah, and I'll just keep it as they come towards me. Keep an eye on it.
Okay. As you guys approach, you can see the Jester is staring at something in the darkness, growling, but then stops and looks up at you, waiting for you to finish your approach. As you continue on through the swamp, you eventually reach a large wooden walkway that cuts through the swamp, going 2 different directions. There are some ambient light. There's some small lights along the walkway which illuminate it, making it a lot easier to see and approach. Obviously, this is for the purposes of the park, but also for security, so that they can see where they're going when they're on their patrols through this particular part. But the lights are minimal enough that it casts a low light and not something too obtrusive or over the top. Roll me another wits and awareness, full pool, no penalties. Okay. So, Aspen and Jester, you see the walkway. You see Charles is already scaling up onto the walkway, kicking his legs over the side. Jace, you see the walkway, but also up in the trees, you can see what appear to be the security cameras cleverly hidden up in the overgrowth. What you notice about them is that where normally a red recording light would be, it is off.
Already did its thing. Cameras are out. That one's off at least.
As you reach the walkway, you scale over. I'm not even going to make you roll. It's as easy enough as pulling yourself up like on a ladder. And now you find yourselves on the walkway. You have muddy boots or shoes, whatever you're wearing, from scaling through the swamp, knowing that these footfalls are going to potentially leave a little bit of a track behind you. What would you like to do?
Gonna take the shoes off, but then tie them around. Then just put them around his neck, and then just pocket the socks.
Aspen, what are you going to do?
Seeing him do that, I'll roll my eyes and I'll do the same, but I'll put my shoes on him. And then I'm gonna make a conscious effort to kind of like glide my feet, just so there's not like feet to feet prints.
Okay. Give me a dexterity and stealth +1, Aspen. Everybody else just straight pull.
I'm going to once we get shift, or once we get over there, I'm going to shift back into Hamid.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have the issue of mud on your boots for some reason, most likely because of the shift that you had made early on in the swamp.
Right. But Muddy Paw Prints would have also asked questions, so I will wipe those away. Definitely.
Okay.
Or with the crit.
Okay.
4.
Oh, 4.
All right. So, as quiet as can be, you head down the wooden walkway. Normally, where there would be thudding and creaks underneath your footfalls, you are very, very careful to make sure that you make as little noise as possible as you start the journey towards the park itself. As you get closer to the end of the walkway, everything turns from wood to concrete. There are long concrete footpaths that lead through a variety of exhibits. There's an amphitheater. There's several different alligator pens or pits, massive, massive pits, some of them the size of football fields, others a lot, more contained, but they are fenced. They're designated locations. You're pretty sure you aren't going to get any issues from the gators in the pens at the very least. Looking out using your same wits and awareness scores, there are lights on the buildings casting a nice ambient glow over most of the area. But in the pens themselves, you can only see the reflections of pairs of eyes of the gators in the pens. Most of them aren't paying attention to you. Your stealth scores were very, very good. So they just are going about their usual business. You can hear the splashing of water as some are moving through the pools. Others have climbed up onto the wooden platforms in their pens and are just laying there in a pile. Further in the park, on the opposite side, you see the moving glow of a flashlight sweeping across the area as a security guard can be seen moving down one of the walkways on the other side. He doesn't seem to be headed in your direction specifically.
Is he going to cross paths with us with the area that we're trying to get to?
The area you're trying to get to, yes, because it is in the center of the park. He's on the opposite side, moving toward the center, but not directly towards you.
Catch up with Charles real quick. Could potentially cross paths with the guard.
We could wait for him to pass, or we could neutralize him now.
Look back to Aspen. Do you think we should neutralize the guard, or do you think we should wait for him to pass?
I think we should wait for him to pass and only neutralize if necessary. There's no point in making a big kerfuffle if it's unnecessary.
And we don't know the path that these guys take either. If they end up crossing at some point, it's going to raise questions.
Okay.
So as you stay hunkered down on the path, you see the security guard meet the center where several paths converge and then start to head down another path. Not your path specifically, but one that is adjacent to, branching off in another direction. Charles takes another big sniff and then, kind of like a pointer dog, points in a specific direction and starts moving down the cement walkway in that direction. Once more, let's have another dex and stealth. A lot of stealth checks in this particular one until things get dicey. Okay, 2 successes from Jace. What else?
2 as well.
2.
2 and 2. Okay. It's a lot harder to sneak down this particular path due to the fact that there are lights that can illuminate you, but keeping your footfalls as quiet as possible, you continue forward. Eventually, you find yourselves hearing the sounds of a lot more movement in the pens as you pass by them. In fact, you get a chorus of hisses coming through from both sides, from either pen, that kind of very distinct alligator hiss of warning. But most of the movement of the gators seems to be away from the walkway. But they do seem on alert now and very aware to your presence. If anyone likes, they could make a charisma in animal ken or manipulation in animal ken to try and quiet down the gators, because of the noise they're making. It could draw attention.
I will try.
Can I assist?
Yeah. If you have dots in animal ken, absolutely.
Could I
Not
get one
bad, no.
side and she get the other?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Aspen, you can take a dice of assistance too from Charles.
4.
Okay. And 5 from Jester. Making some soft shushing sounds, making yourself seem less of a threat. You notice that the hissing dies down. The gators still continue to move away from you, but based off of your body language and behavior, they don't see you as threatening as much as just passing through. I think Charles once again takes the lead and continues further down the path until you reach almost the entrance plaza to the entire park, where all these paths conjoin. There are signs pointing off in various directions, one heading towards the gator wrestling show, another heading off towards the exotic theater or exotic animal amphitheater. Of course, there's concessions, the gift shop, everything else. But you could also see that there are signs pointing towards the different kinds of alligators. There's the African alligators, there's the Australian alligators, they're kind of separated by what region they're from. Charles heads towards the American alligator pen, which seems to have been Jester in where you remember having encountered the aware or intelligent alligators before. As you approach, everyone roll me another wits and awareness check.
Two.
1.
1.
Okay. While the two of you are distracted, keeping an eye out for security guards, trying to ignore the gators that were clearly just hissing at you a moment ago, the idea being very kind of intense and threatening if you're not used to dealing with gators. Jace, you look into the pool or into the pen, and you see that there are a small pod of about 8 gators, even though there are a lot more in the pen itself. But these 8 are staring attentively in your direction, kind of watching your movements and tracing you very carefully. There's a recognition in their eyes, an intelligence in their eyes that shows that they are locked in, keyed in, and processing everything that's happening more than most wild animals would. The other gators in the pen are doing their own thing. They're up on the platform, they're around on the edges. But this small collection are all grouped together, watching you.
Gonna look at them and kind of raise a hand and move it back and forth.
As you do, you see their heads almost in unison follow your hand back and forth.
Grab onto Jester, keeping eye contact with them. There's something weird about, point to the group of 8. Those ones.
I'll look from the other gators that I was trying to like keep quiet, and glance over. Yeah, that's them. That's the ones we're here for.
Okay.
They're nieces and nephews of She Who Shines.
Okay. So now we know where they're at. What's the plan to get them out?
There is an access point, a gate on one side. Unfortunately, it is down the path that security guard just went down. So we can try and follow behind, hoping that they don't turn back, although he reaches into his suit pocket and produces a pamphlet with a fold-out map of the park. We're right here. That path goes down, loops around several pens, and comes back up. So they will be headed back in this direction. Now, depending on their gait, we may have some time, but it is a risk. Or we jump the fence and try to carry them over, but I don't think that's going to be the preferred method.
That seems to draw more. That would draw more attention, I think. Like I said, I could, if we come across him, I could try to put him to sleep.
You do so without him seeing us.
That's. I guess that depends on if it works or not. We can try to.
Let's give it a shot then. Heading down the path, following in the footsteps of the security guard that went before. As you know, another Dex and Stealth check.
Three.
3.
I got a brutal. Can this be argued as ritualistically infiltrating?
I'll give you infiltrating. Do you have another descriptor that might work? Not ritualistically.
No.
Okay. I'll give you the successes, but you are going to suffer a compulsion. Now let's see what that compulsion will be. Okay. So you are going to suffer the Okay, here we go. Call the weak. Rage compels the guru to hurt and destroy what they perceive to be the weakest link in a given situation. This compulsion often means physical harm. In some cases, it can also involve subtler types of damage, such as social or emotional. However, first the player determines what their character sees as the weakest link in the current scene. It could be an ineffective old or sick person, or it could be an outdated and damaged object. All of the character's actions not immediately resulting in harming or destroying this weakest link are performed at a 2 dice penalty to their dice pools. This compulsion ends when the guru incapacitates, destroys, or drives away the weakest link, or the scene ends. So, with that being said, you feel the rage and anger start to build in you about the slow nature of the situation. Maybe it's the anxiety starting to overcome you or overwhelm you about it all, but you do feel yourself becoming more aggressive and feral as the animal-like instincts within you start to take over.
Right, so you're saying we just gotta take out that guard, so let's fucking get to it so we can get the fuck out of here. This is stupid. Let's move. Someone go take him out.
Charles looks over towards Jace and points at him. He gets it.
Glance at Jace. Getting a little impatient.
You could say that. I don't like this. This is taking forever.
Thought you were good at sneaking.
I am. Others are lacking. So let's move on with this.
Okay. So you all head down the path surrounding. You don't see the security guard at first, but further down the path, you can see the bobbing glow of the flashlight as it shines over pens, illuminating several pairs of eyes of the gators awaiting in the pens. What do you want to do?
I need to check something for a lullaby. So we can move on from me for a moment.
Yeah. Aspen, what are you thinking? What's going on with you?
So she's conflicted because she doesn't quite know. She hasn't really navigated through here, so she doesn't quite know if there's a way to get to it, get to the gators and like get them out only if, or as best they can, and only deal with the guards if they absolutely have to and when they absolutely have to, and she's not sure this is the right time to do it. So she is going to turn to Jace. I think maybe we just get to the gate first and deal with them afterwards. I think that's the best course of action. We don't need more people seeing us. We don't need more casualties. We don't need it if it's not necessary.
Then how do we get to the gate fastest? Looking at Aspen, then to Charles.
Quickest way is to go down this path. The gate is around the back through a maintenance building, but we can get there. Small maintenance entryway.
I say we get there, and if we absolutely have to, then we deal with the guards. I think if there's any way that we can get out of here without dealing with potential fighting or being seen, then if we can, we do that.
So my question is, how are we going to get 8 gators out here without being noticed by the guard?
That is a question.
Especially since the trucks are out front.
Kent, how thick is the gauntlet here?
I would say the gauntlet is typical thickness, mid-range. Because of the clash between the Weaver and the Wild, it's strained.
I know. You know what? I'll take care of it. It's fine. I'll do it. he'll grab some of the mud from the boots and stuff on him, and he'll rub his hands together, get down on the ground, and then pick up some different debris from the area and start forming shadow passage.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I'm going to get us to the gate so we don't have to deal with the guard, and then have a way for us to be able to get out of here without
How are you
being
gonna get-
seen.
How are you going to get the gators through the Umbra? Like, this is dumb. You can't take them through the Umbra. They're just gators.
We can get to the gate though, right? And then we can deal with it afterwards. Right now we have something impeding us, moving us forward. We have this guard. We don't want to hurt anybody. We want to move forward. Can pass us through, get over to the gate. I agree. We can't take them through the Umbra, but I can get you guys to the gate.
Not a bad idea, Charles says.
Okay.
So above table, logistically, if we were to get to the gate, right, unseen, get the gators out, would there still be guards passing, or would we be able to wait until the guards pass the opposite direction? Because they're going to have to turn around and go the opposite direction at some
You
point,
could
right?
wait until they come back around and then try and follow them out effectively. But you are, again, going to be contending with 8 gators, trying to convince them to go with you without any means of restraint or anything to stop them at the moment. So that could draw a lot of attention potentially. But yeah, I mean, they will, if you wait long enough, they will pass back by.
She'll look over at Jace, cock an eyebrow, look back at Jester. With your putting them to sleep thing, they don't have to see you? Or they
No.
do?
They can just hear me.
Okay, then maybe we get to the gate and then get them to sleep. That way we're closer to getting out and not being seen by another guard.
Okay.
So moving down the passageway, seeing the bobbing flashlight off in the distance, you eventually reach the maintenance entryway, which is a iron wrought gate that's blocking another path in between the pens that seems to get to the access points of the pens. You get to the gate, and the gate is locked. You have a couple of choices. One, you could force the gate open through brute strength. However, that will likely cause some noise. Or you could try and pick the lock on the gate.
I'm assuming that's Dex and larceny.
That is Dex and larceny, yes.
Anybody good at picking locks?
I've dabbled.
How big does the lock look? Like, does it look like it's going to be difficult to pick?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be super easy, but it's pickable. I will say that much, but it isn't. It's a pretty heavy duty lock because of what it's trying to keep out and keep in. So it is meant to be difficult to get into, but not extremely difficult. We're not talking like bank vault. We're talking, obstruction.
Anybody got a bobby pin or a paper clip?
Pull a bobby pin out of my hair that's put up into a ponytail.
Thanks. He'll get down and attempt to pick the lock.
Okay. Give me a Dex and larceny. However, this is not you attempting to destroy the weakest link, so it will be at a -2 penalty.
Can I assist?
I will let you assist and give 1 die, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep a watch out or an ear out. Watch out, ear out for the guard.
Okay, Jester, give me a wits and awareness then.
That was 2.
2. Okay. It takes time, but yes, you are able to pick the lock. It's not super strong, but it is just annoyingly complicated at first. But yeah, eventually you are able to pick the lock. Jester, what did you get?
6 with a crit.
Okay. not in the pit you're entering into, but the pit across from it. Something catches your eye. There's the reflecting dark eyes of all of the gators, but amidst them, you also see two glowing red orbs moving amidst the gators. When you focus more on that, using the ambient light to the best of your abilities, you see a person, a security guard, moving through one of the pens in the pen itself.
With glowing red eyes?
Mm-hmm.
I'll just reach back and just tap Charles on the back,
He turns to look at you.
and point.
He takes a deep breath in. All right. Do you think you two can maneuver the gators, or at least start maneuvering them?
I think we can make that happen. Yeah.
At least get into the pen and close the gate behind you. Charles looks to Jester. Leech.
I'll hold the bag out for either Aspen or Jace to take it. Might use that if you need to distract any of the others.
I'll grab it.
As you keep fiddling with the lock, Charles turns and drops down to all fours, shifting into his hispo form, the larger, more dire wolf-looking creature, as he starts stalking over towards the other pen.
The moment I'm gonna stay in Hamid for the moment. As I follow behind him.
He gets to the fence around the pen, leans back, and then springs in a large jump over the fence and down into the pen beyond. Watching the eyes, you hear movement as several of the gators quickly scurry away. But his fall is quiet enough that he lands on the ground without making too much of a fuss or a sound.
Okay. Yeah, I'll shift into Hispo.
Okay.
As well.
So as you shift down, dropping onto all fours, make the rage check.
Made it.
Okay. So yeah, getting into your large lupine form, you feel your senses sharpen. You feel your strength grow. And looking at the fence in front of you, a good strength and athletics score should be able to get you over the top, but it is going to be difficult.
I will also attempt to leap over instead of trying to scrabble over.
Okay, give me the strength and athletics. Meanwhile, the two of you finally hear the lock disengage and the barred doorway open. You see that there are a couple of steps down that lead to a concrete alleyway in between the two pens. You see a little further in there looks like there's a small maintenance building, probably with supplies and necessities inside. And then there are gates on either side, one leading into the pen you wish to go into, the other leading into another pen.
I'm gonna tilt my head over to Jace to the pen, and I am unfortunately going to go back to my Hamid form to hopefully coax these gators to come willingly.
Okay. Shifting down, you feel yourself shrink back into your small diminutive form as you enter into the alleyway, the walkway leading in between the two pens. You get to the gate, and once again, you find another locked door, but it leads into the actual pen beyond. You can see that most of the gators have scrabbled away or into the water of the lake in the center. You can also see on the far edge is where the other gators, your targets, are. And they are still with sharp eyes watching the actions or the scene unfold. If you'd like, you can make another Dex and Larceny check to try and pick that gate as well.
I'll give it a whirl. Burn a will. Another 2.
Okay. Unfortunately, this time, the gate does not unlock. This one is clearly a stronger lock because it actually goes to the pen and not just the walkway. So you can't quite get the tumblers to engage.
Aspen, this one's different. It's a different lock altogether. Bobby pin's not going to cut it on this one.
How much noise is it going to make if I just break it?
I'll tell you what, I'll give you a strength and stealth to try and break it open. And depending on the outcome of that score, we will be able to determine how silent it is.
Okay, I'm gonna roll my eyes and then shift again back into Glabro.
Okay. What'd you get on your roll there, Jester?
I got 5. I spent a willpower, but I got 5 successes with a crit.
Okay. Jumping up, you plant your feet or your paws onto the top of the fence, which allow you to vault yourself over and down below. While it makes a little bit of noise, it's pretty minimal, all things considered, almost like you were grabbing and vaulting it with your hands in Hamid form, but because of your Hispo form, your paws just perch and then spring off, causing you to land on the ground next to Charles. Observing the scene in front of you, the red eyes have disappeared. You can't see the human figure at the moment looking around, but you can see that the pool of water that a lot of the gators have gone into, they have started to separate, almost making a section of the water clear. So, what'd you get on that roll there, Aspen?
I used a willpower to re-roll, but I got 4.
Okay. There is a creaking, snapping noise, but because you give it a nice quick tug, it's brief as it just pops open. And now the gate is broken, but unlocked.
Stick my head into the pen to Jace.
See, talking doesn't have to be everything. You broke something. Good job. You'll move past.
Okay. With the two different scenes going on here, we're going to take them one at a time. We're going to start with Aspen and Jace entering into the pen, and then we'll return to Jester and Charles looking for the leech. So, as you step into the pen, you realize just how crowded this pen actually is. Aside from the 8 gators that you are meant to liberate, there are at least another 15 more in the pen itself. And based off of the layout, they are definitely in between you and the ones you want to reach. How would you like to proceed?
You got
Can
that
I-
bag of meat, right?
Yeah.
You all right with throwing those to the edge, trying to get those guys to make a hole?
Yeah, but then I'm gonna kind of lose strength here while I'm trying to coax these other guys out, so be ready.
Okay.
Okay, so are you staying in your glabro form or are you shifting again?
I'm gonna stay in my glabro form while I throw the meat, just so I can kind of throw it as far as I can. And then while they're distracted, I will shift back and move towards the others.
Okay, give me manipulation and animal, Ken, as you are trying to distract the gators with the meat. I will give you a bonus die because raw meat is a beautiful thing and it is more likely to help, but they are also very alerted to your presence, and Guru always stir uneasy feelings in animals.
That's 3.
3 successes is just enough to cause them to start to separate, making an opening. However, the opening is through the water in the middle of the pool. And the water is, I'll say, about 2 to 3 feet deep in the edges, and it gets deeper towards the center. Heading into the water, trying to keep your splashes down, you begin to wade out across the pool towards the other side. As you get closer to the other side, you see that all 8 gators are now very much on alert and watching in your direction. A couple of them have their jaws open, but aren't making any noise, just staring and preparing to strike if they need to. They are very much hunched and their muscles are tensed. Did you make the, oh, and you shifted back into Hamid while you were crossing. Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna look towards them while the others are distracted with a piece of meat, and I'm gonna hand it to Jace so he can hold it over my head because I'm small. And I'm gonna look to them. Your aunt sent me. Just come meet. Yeah?
They stare, almost unblinking. One opens its jaws, but then closes them again. Give me a charisma and animal, Ken.
Can I add my favor?
I will let you add your favor, yes. No beauty, though. They don't find you attractive in the slightest.
Yeah, I don't think I'm really an alligator style, you know. Less scales, more fur.
Yeah. Attractive to eat, but not anything else.
Well, the beauty of the meat, then, you know. No, I'm just kidding. 4.
Okay. You see the other ones that had their jaws open close them as they stare intently towards you. One in the front or in the middle moves forward, getting closer and closer to you until it's probably a foot away. And it has its head slightly down, but its eyes up, looking at you.
I'm gonna stare right back at it. We're gonna take you to She Who Shines. Not sure if you know who that is, but we're getting you out of here. And I'll make Jace toss the meat to them just so they can have it.
And I'll throw one close by.
Even as the meat goes sailing past and landing on the ground, they don't move an inch. But the one closest to Aspen turns its head and lets out almost like a croaking, warbling sound. And the other gators relax slightly. One of them moves over to hiss at another gator, not of this pod, incoming, attracted by the meat that was thrown. And the other gator stops and turns and starts squirming its way away. The gators then start moving as a group towards you, one of them stopping to pick up the meat in its jaws and start gulping it down. You have their attention and they are following you for the moment.
Okay. Jace, when I get them all out, make sure you close the pen behind. I don't need all the other gators getting out and this whole being on the news later.
I'll see what I can find.
Okay. Crossing the pool of water again, you realize that fall is definitely here as the cold bites down into your skin of the wet clothing that's now clinging to your bodies. You end up crossing the pond once again to the other side, approaching the gate, which is still hanging open. You hear the sounds of the gators swimming through the water behind you and crawling up onto the shore. And as you exit out into the alleyway, you find that it gets very crowded very quickly as the 8 large gators, ranging from 8 feet to 10 feet long from tip to tail, crawl out after you into the alleyway. Jace, give me a wits and investigation, still at a minus two, to try and find something to gum up the gate, or at least lock it, close it enough, even though it will need to be replaced most likely with that broken lock now.
3.
Okay. Going over to the maintenance doors, you end up finding a cable, like a bungee cord, but stronger, that you're able to wrap around the gate to secure it closed. Give me a, let's go, dexterity and survival to tie a pretty solid knot to make sure that that gate stays shut.
-2 on that, right?
Everything's -2 until you do something about that guard.
Yep. 1.
Okay. You tie it around, give it a tug. Sure, that'll work.
I got important shit to do, and you'll give it a quick kick, make sure it stays, and move on.
As you kick it, the cable loosens, and you see the gate kind of shake a little bit.
It's fine. Keep going.
Okay. Heading out the alley, you get to the gate that you picked. Give me a wits and awareness, both of you.
2.
3.
Okay. You don't hear anything or see anything on either side as you slowly open the gate and start moving up onto the walkway. The gators follow behind, scaling the steps slowly before filling out onto the concrete walkway. Now it looks like a zoo escape with these several gators spread out across the walkway between the two of you. And that's when the flashlight illuminates all of you. We transition now to the other ongoing scene. Jester, you and Charles have leapt into the pen. You see that the gators have formed kind of a hole in the center of the water, having backed up to all of the sides. The ones closest to you are extremely displeased with your presence and are very aware and alerted to you as their jaws are open and the hisses are pouring out.
You said like the mud is it's become a little more clear. Is there any like shape that I can see in the pool?
Roll me a wits and investigation. One success. You can't see anything distinct. No, not within the water. It's too cloudy and disturbed to make any signs of anything.
Okay. I'm gonna stay a few feet away from the shore and start like just staying as much on the like land part as I can, just searching for those eyes at least.
As you position yourself around the pool, Charles, mirroring your actions and moving a few steps away in the opposite direction towards the edge of the pool, you lower your nose, your snout down to try and get a better look. And that's when suddenly out of the water, two arms reach up to grab you. Go ahead and roll me a dexterity and athletics.
Three successes.
Okay. You are able to back up quick enough to see the hands just miss you as a soaking wet security guard reaches out of the pool trying to grab you. You can see that their eyes are glowing red, that they have fangs extended out of their mouth, and they, having missed you, back up into the water. And this is where we're going to bring an end to our story because of the connection issues and the technical difficulties we're having. We will pick up right where we left off next week to resolve the jailbreak of the Gators. Thank you to everyone for being super patient with us through this process. Some things are unavoidable, and this happens to be one of them, but we will try again next week to get this all settled. For these amazing players, I'm Kent. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.